The art gallery. Natalie stood in front of the large canvas, her paintbrush hovering in the air. She had been working on this piece for 3 months, but something was still missing. The painting showed a woman standing at a crossroads, but Natalie couldn't decide which path the woman should be looking at. "Still working on that one?" her best friend Claire asked, walking into the small studio apartment. "I can't figure out the ending," Natalie admitted, setting down her brush. "Does she choose the safe path or the uncertain one?" Claire laughed. "This is why I stick to graphic design. Clear objectives, measurable results. You artists overthink everything." "Speaking of clear objectives," Natalie said, changing the subject, "have you heard from Ryan lately?" Claire's expression softened. Ryan was Natalie's boyfriend of 4 years. He had been in New York for the past 6 months, chasing his dream of becoming a Broadway actor. "He called yesterday," Natalie said quietly. "He got a call back for a major production. If he gets the part, he'll need to stay in New York indefinitely." "And are you going to join him?" Claire asked. Natalie looked around her studio. The walls were covered with her paintings. Her easel stood by the window, catching the perfect afternoon light. Outside, she could see the Chicago skyline, the city she had lived in her entire life, the city that inspired her art. "I don't know," she whispered. "New York feels so far away, and my gallery showing is in 2 months. I can't just leave." "Natalie, you've been putting your life on hold for 6 months. When does it become about what you want?" Before Natalie could answer, her phone rang. Ryan's name flashed on the screen. "Hey," she answered, trying to sound cheerful. "Nat, I got it. I got the part." Ryan's voice was filled with excitement. "I'm going to be in a Broadway show. Can you believe it?" Natalie felt her heart swell with happiness for him, even as a small part of her sank. "Ryan, that's incredible. I'm so proud of you." "There's more," Ryan continued, speaking quickly. "The director loves me. He thinks I have a real future here. Nat, this is everything I've been working toward. Everything we've been working toward." "We?" Natalie asked softly. "Yes, we. I want you here with me, Nat. I want to celebrate with you. I want to build this life together." Natalie closed her eyes. "Ryan, my gallery showing is in 2 months. This is my big break. I can't just abandon it." There was a pause. "Can't you postpone it? Nat, this is Broadway. This is my dream." "And my art is mine," Natalie said, feeling tears prick her eyes. "Why does your dream matter more than mine?" "That's not what I'm saying," Ryan said, frustration creeping into his voice. "I'm saying we can both chase our dreams in New York. You can paint anywhere." "But I'm not from anywhere. I'm from Chicago. This city is in my work, Ryan. It's my inspiration." "So what are you saying? You're choosing Chicago over us?" "I'm saying I don't know why I have to choose at all." The conversation ended badly, with both of them upset and no closer to a solution. Natalie hung up and stared at her unfinished painting, the woman at the crossroads, still unsure which path to take. Natalie had met Ryan at an open mic night at a local cafe. She had been sitting in the corner, sketching the performers, when a voice like honey caught her attention. Ryan was on stage, singing an acoustic version of a classic love song. He wasn't the best singer there, but he had something special, charisma, presence, that indefinable quality that made you unable to look away. After his performance, he had walked straight to her table. "Can I see what you drew?" he asked with a confident smile. Natalie, normally shy with strangers, found herself turning her sketchbook to show him. She had captured him mid-song, eyes closed, completely lost in the music. "This is incredible," Ryan said, sitting down without invitation. "You made me look way better than I actually am." "I just drew what I saw," Natalie replied. "Then you see things differently than most people." He extended his hand. "I'm Ryan." "Natalie." They talked for hours that night. Ryan told her about his dream of being on Broadway, about growing up in a small town where everyone said his dreams were too big. Natalie told him about her art, about how she saw the world in colors and shapes that she tried to capture on canvas. "We're the same," Ryan said as the cafe was closing. "We're both dreamers." From that night on, they were inseparable. Ryan supported Natalie's art, coming to every small showing, helping her set up her booth at street fairs, posing for her paintings. Natalie went to every one of Ryan's auditions, community theater performances, and showcases. They moved in together after a year. Their apartment was small but perfect. One half was Natalie's studio. The other half had space for Ryan to rehearse. They called it their dream factory. "One day," Ryan would say, lying on the floor after rehearsal while Natalie painted, "we're going to make it big. You'll have paintings in the Art Institute, and I'll have my name in lights on Broadway." "And we'll do it together," Natalie would always add. "Always together," Ryan agreed. But dreams are complicated, and sometimes they don't follow the plan. Over the next few weeks, Natalie and Ryan talked every day. Ryan's life in New York was becoming more real, more established. He had an agent now, was going to more auditions, making connections in the theater world. Meanwhile, Natalie's gallery showing was approaching. It was at a prestigious gallery in downtown Chicago, and several art critics had expressed interest in attending. This could be her big break. "Come visit me," Ryan said during one of their video calls. "Just for a weekend. See New York, see my life here." Natalie booked a flight. Maybe seeing Ryan in his element would help her figure out what to do. New York was overwhelming. The noise, the crowds, the constant movement, it was so different from Chicago's more measured pace. Ryan's apartment was tiny, barely bigger than her studio back home, and he shared it with 2 other actors. But when she saw Ryan on stage during a rehearsal, everything else faded away. He was brilliant. He belonged there in the lights, commanding the stage. New York suited him in a way she had never seen before. That night, they walked through Times Square, surrounded by lights and tourists. "Imagine," Ryan said, pointing to a theater marquee. "One day my name could be up there." "It will be," Natalie said, squeezing his hand. "You're incredibly talented, Ryan." "And you could paint this," Ryan gestured to the cityscape around them. "All of this energy, this life, Nat, we could both thrive here." Natalie looked around. It was beautiful in its own way, but it wasn't her beautiful. These lights didn't speak to her the way the quiet sunrise over Lake Michigan did. This chaos didn't inspire her the way the peaceful neighborhoods of Chicago did. "Ryan, I need to ask you something," she said. "If I don't move here, if I stay in Chicago, does that mean we're over?" Ryan stopped walking. "Why does it have to be all or nothing?" "Because long distance isn't working. We both know it. We're growing apart." "We're not growing apart," Ryan insisted. "We're just growing in different directions." "Isn't that the same thing?" Ryan pulled her close. "Nat, I love you. I want a future with you. But I can't give up Broadway. This is everything I've worked for." And I can't give up my art, my home, my entire life, Natalie said, tears rolling down her cheeks. So what do we do? Ryan asked helplessly. I don't know, Natalie whispered. I honestly don't know. Natalie returned to Chicago more confused than ever. She threw herself into preparing for her gallery showing, trying not to think about the impossible choice ahead of her. Claire helped her frame her paintings, set up the displays, send invitations. The night before the opening, they stood in the gallery, looking at Natalie's work. It's all about crossroads, Claire observed. Every single painting shows someone choosing between two paths. Natalie looked at her art with fresh eyes. Claire was right. Without realizing it, she had been painting her own dilemma over and over again. What are you going to do about Ryan? Claire asked gently. He asked me to move to New York, Natalie said. He said he got offered a 1-year contract with the show. After that, maybe he could come back to Chicago for a while. And you said? I said I'd think about it. But Claire, how can I leave? This showing, my connections here, my family, my inspiration, it's all here. But Ryan's not, Claire pointed out. No, Natalie agreed sadly. Ryan's not. The night of the gallery showing was magical. Dozens of people came, including 2 prominent art critics and a buyer from a major museum. Natalie's paintings were well received, and she sold 3 pieces on opening night alone. But as she smiled and thanked people for coming, her eyes kept drifting to the door. Ryan had promised to be there, said he wouldn't miss it for the world. He never showed up. At midnight, when the gallery was closing and the last guests were leaving, Natalie checked her phone. One message from Ryan. I'm so sorry. Emergency rehearsal called. They're recasting one of the supporting roles and need all hands on deck. So proud of you. I love you. Natalie felt her heart crack. This was the moment that showed her where she stood in Ryan's life. His dreams would always come first. Natalie sat alone in the empty gallery, surrounded by her paintings of people at crossroads. Finally, she understood what her art had been trying to tell her. Sometimes there is no perfect choice. Sometimes you just have to choose. She called Ryan. He answered on the first ring. Nat, I'm so sorry about tonight. It's okay, she interrupted. I understand your career has to come first. It's not about it coming first, Ryan protested. They needed me, I couldn't say no. I know, and that's why I've made my decision. Ryan went quiet. What decision? I'm staying in Chicago, Ryan. I'm not moving to New York. Nat. Let me finish, she said, her voice steady despite her tears. I love you. I love you so much that I've been trying to figure out how to make this work. But I finally realized something tonight. If I move to New York, I'll be moving for you, not for me. And eventually I'll resent you for it. We can make it work, Ryan said desperately. I'll visit more, you can visit me. We'll figure it out. We've been trying to figure it out for 6 months, and it's not working. You chose your dreams, Ryan, and that's okay. That's actually beautiful, but I need to choose mine too. So this is it. We're breaking up. Natalie closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Yes, we're breaking up. Natalie, please. You deserve someone who can follow you to New York without regret. And I deserve someone who wants to be here with me, in my world, sharing my dreams. I do want that, Ryan said, crying now too. You want both, and you can't have both. Neither of us can. They cried together over the phone for a long time. Finally, Ryan spoke. I'll always love you, Nat. You know that, right? I know. I'll always love you too. And I'll always be your biggest fan. When you make it big on Broadway, I'll be watching. And when your paintings hang in the Art Institute, I'll be there for the opening, Ryan promised. No, you won't, Natalie said with a sad smile. You'll be on stage somewhere living your dream, and that's exactly where you should be. The weeks after the breakup were the hardest of Natalie's life. She woke up every morning reaching for her phone to text Ryan, only to remember they weren't together anymore. She saw things she wanted to tell him about, heard songs that reminded her of him, painted scenes that she wished she could share with him. But she also felt something unexpected, relief. For 6 months, she had been holding her breath, waiting to see what would happen with Ryan's career, afraid to make plans, uncertain about her future. Now, for the first time, she could breathe. She threw herself into her art with renewed passion. The gallery showing had been a success, and she had been invited to participate in several more exhibitions. A local magazine wanted to do a feature on her work. A collector commissioned a series of paintings. Claire watched her friend with a mixture of pride and concern. "You're working too much," she said one evening, finding Natalie in her studio at midnight. "I'm just inspired," Natalie replied, not looking away from her canvas. "You're running from your feelings." Natalie's brush paused. "Maybe, but at least I'm running towards something productive." "Have you heard from Ryan?" Claire asked. "He texts sometimes. Updates about the show, asks about my work. We're trying to be friends." "And how's that going?" "Terribly," Natalie admitted. "Every text feels like picking at a wound that won't heal." Claire sat down beside her. "You know what you need, a complete change of scenery, not New York," she added quickly, seeing Natalie's expression. "But something different. What about that artist residency in Santa Fe you were considering?" Natalie had almost forgotten about it. Before Ryan left for New York, she had applied for a 3-month residency at an artist colony in New Mexico. It seemed like a lifetime ago. "They offered me a spot starting next month," Natalie said. "But I turned it down because I didn't want to be away from Chicago while Ryan might come visit." "Ryan's not coming to visit," Claire said gently. "He's building a life in New York. You should build one for yourself too. Not here waiting for something that's over. Somewhere new, doing something just for you." Natalie considered it. "What if I regret it?" "What if you regret not going?" Claire countered. 2 months later, Natalie stood in a small adobe studio in Santa Fe, looking out at the red rock landscape of New Mexico. The residency provided her with a private studio, room and board, and nothing but time to create. It was perfect. The other artists at the colony were from all over the world: a sculptor from Japan, a photographer from Brazil, a performance artist from Germany. They shared meals, critiqued each other's work, and pushed each other to explore new creative territories. For the first time in months, Natalie felt like herself again. Not Ryan's girlfriend, not the girl who got left behind, just Natalie the artist. She started a new series of paintings. Instead of crossroads and difficult choices, she painted transformations, butterflies emerging from cocoons, flowers blooming in unexpected places, light breaking through storm clouds. "Your work has changed," observed Marcus, the sculptor. They were sitting outside, watching the sunset paint the landscape in shades of orange and purple. "I have changed," Natalie replied. "Heartbreak?" Marcus asked knowingly. "How did you know?" I recognize it in your work. That particular shade of melancholy mixed with hope. It's beautiful. Natalie smiled. Thank you. What's your story? I was engaged, Marcus said. We had planned our whole life together. But then I got this amazing opportunity to study in Japan, and she couldn't come with me. We tried long distance for a year, but he trailed off. It didn't work, Natalie finished. No, she's married now, has a baby. I'm happy for her. But sometimes I wonder what life would have been like if I had stayed. Do you regret leaving? Natalie asked. Marcus thought about it. No, I regret that I couldn't have both the love and the dream. But if I had to choose, I chose right, for me at least. She chose right for her too. We just couldn't choose each other. Natalie felt tears in her eyes. That's exactly it. Ryan chose his dreams, and I chose mine. But choosing our dreams meant we couldn't choose each other. Did you love him? Marcus asked. So much, Natalie whispered. Then you didn't choose your dreams over him, Marcus said wisely. You chose yourself. There's a difference. Natalie's time in Santa Fe transformed her, both as an artist and as a person. When she returned to Chicago, she felt stronger, more confident, more certain of who she was and what she wanted. The paintings from her residency were her best work yet. She arranged another gallery showing, this time at an even more prestigious venue. The opening night was packed with collectors, critics, and art lovers. And this time, Natalie's family was there. Her parents, her sister, her nephews. Claire brought her new boyfriend. Friends from college came. The people who had always been part of her Chicago life, the ones who had stayed. As Natalie mingled with guests, accepting compliments and discussing her work, she felt completely present. She wasn't checking her phone, wasn't looking at the door, wasn't wishing someone else was there. She was exactly where she needed to be. Near the end of the evening, a woman approached her. She was elegant, probably in her 50s, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. Ms. Reynolds, I'm Victoria Chen. I'm the director of the Contemporary Art Museum. I'd like to discuss featuring your work in our spring exhibition. Natalie's heart leaped. The Contemporary Art Museum was one of the most respected in the country. I would be honored. Your transformation series particularly interests me, Victoria continued. The way you've captured personal growth and change through visual metaphor is remarkable. It's clear this work comes from a place of deep personal experience. It does, Natalie admitted. The best art always does, Victoria said with a knowing smile. After Victoria left, Natalie stood alone for a moment, looking at her paintings. Each one told a story of change, of choosing, of becoming. They were her story, but they were universal too. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown New York number. Saw your work featured in Art Today magazine. Absolutely stunning. You're living your dream. So happy for you. R. Natalie stared at the message for a long time. Ryan had changed his number. This must be his new one. He was reaching out, acknowledging her success. She typed and deleted several responses before finally settling on, "Thank you. I heard the show got extended. Congratulations. You're living yours too." She added, "We both chose right." After a moment, his response came, "Yeah, we did. Take care of yourself, Nat." "You too, Ryan." And that was it. Closure, finally. Not dramatic, not painful, just complete. 2 years after her breakup with Ryan, Natalie stood in the Contemporary Art Museum, looking at her paintings on the walls. Her exhibition, Transformations, had been running for 3 months and had been extended due to popular demand. She had become exactly what she had always dreamed of being, a successful, respected artist. Her work was selling, critics praised her vision, and she had a waiting list of commissions. She had bought a larger studio with space for workshops, where she taught painting to aspiring artists. Her life was full, rich, meaningful, and she was dating someone new. His name was David, and he was an architect who had been hired to design a new wing for the museum. They had met at one of Natalie's exhibition talks, and he had asked her out for coffee. That was 6 months ago. David was different from Ryan in almost every way. He was quiet where Ryan was charismatic, thoughtful where Ryan was spontaneous, grounded where Ryan was dreamy. He had his own successful career, his own life, his own dreams, and none of them required leaving Chicago. "Ready?" David asked, joining her in front of her paintings. They were going to dinner to celebrate the exhibition's extension. "Just 1 more minute," Natalie said, studying her work. The woman at the crossroads, the painting she had struggled with so long ago, hung in the center of the exhibition. She had finally finished it the year before. In the finished version, the woman wasn't looking at either path. She was looking straight ahead, at the viewer, with a serene smile on her face. Because the real insight wasn't about which path to choose. It was about having the courage to choose at all, and then walking your chosen path with confidence. "You know what's funny?" Natalie said to David. "I used to think choosing meant giving something up. Like if I chose my art, I had to give up love, or if I chose Chicago, I had to give up my relationship." "And now?" David asked. "Now I know that choosing yourself isn't giving anything up. It's gaining everything. When I chose to stay, to follow my dreams here, I opened up space for all of this, my career, my life, eventually you. If I had chosen differently, I would have been living someone else's dream, not my own." David kissed her temple. "For what it's worth, I'm glad you stayed." "Me too," Natalie said, meaning it with her whole heart. As they left the museum, Natalie saw a poster advertising upcoming Broadway shows touring through Chicago. One of them featured Ryan's show. "Want to go see it?" David asked, noticing where she was looking. Natalie considered it. 2 years ago, the thought of seeing Ryan's show would have been unbearable. Now, she felt only curiosity and a warm nostalgia for what they had shared. "Yeah," she said, "I think I'd like that." The night of the show, Natalie and David sat in the theater, waiting for the curtain to rise. Natalie felt butterflies in her stomach, but they weren't the painful kind. They were the excited kind, the anticipation of seeing someone she once loved doing what they loved. When Ryan appeared on stage, Natalie caught her breath. He was magnetic, commanding, absolutely in his element. This was why he had gone to New York. This was his dream fully realized. During intermission, David went to get drinks while Natalie stayed in her seat, processing her emotions. She was happy for Ryan, genuinely happy, but she also felt profoundly grateful that she hadn't followed him. Because watching him on stage made it crystal clear. This was his world, not hers. She would have been perpetually on the sidelines, waiting for him to finish rehearsals, rearranging her life around his schedule, living in his shadow. "Natalie." She turned around. Ryan was standing there in costume, having somehow spotted her from the stage. He looked older, more polished, but his smile was the same. "Ryan," she said, standing up, "you were incredible." "Thank you," he said, seeming genuinely pleased. I saw you in the audience and had to come say hi during intermission. What are you doing here? I thought you'd moved too. Wasn't it Santa Fe? I was there for a residency, but I came back. Chicago is home. Right, of course. Ryan looked at her carefully. You look happy. I am happy, Natalie said. Really happy. My career is going well. I have a great life here. I read about your exhibition at the Contemporary. That's major, Nat. I'm so proud of you. Thank you, and your show is amazing. You deserve all of this success. There was a brief, comfortable silence. Then Ryan said, I'm sorry, about how things ended, about missing your gallery opening, about everything. Don't be, Natalie said sincerely. You chose your dreams. That's exactly what you should have done. Did you hate me for it? Ryan asked quietly. Never. I was heartbroken, but I never hated you. You were being true to yourself. That's one of the things I loved about you. David appeared with drinks, and Natalie introduced them. Ryan shook David's hand with genuine warmth. Take care of her, Ryan said. She's special. I know, David replied. Ryan had to go back for the second act, but before he left, he turned to Natalie one more time. For what it's worth, Nat, I think we both chose right. I couldn't have become this, he gestured to the stage, if I had stayed. And you wouldn't have become what you are if you had come with me. We loved each other, but we loved our dreams more. That's not a bad thing. No, Natalie agreed. It's not a bad thing at all. 6 months after seeing Ryan's show, Natalie received an unexpected phone call. Ms. Reynolds, this is Jessica Park from the National Gallery in Washington, D.C. We're curating an exhibition called The Artist's Journey, and we'd love to include your work. It was the opportunity of a lifetime. The National Gallery was one of the most prestigious museums in the world. We'd need you to come to D.C. for the installation and opening, Jessica continued. Probably about 3 weeks total. Would that be possible? Natalie looked around her Chicago studio, thought about her life here, her teaching commitments, David. 3 weeks away would be challenging, but this was too important to pass up. Yes, she said, I can make it work. David was supportive, as she knew he would be. This is huge, Nat. You have to go. Come with me, she asked. I wish I could, but I have the museum project deadline. But I'll fly out for the opening night. I wouldn't miss it. Promise? Natalie asked. Promise, David said firmly. 3 weeks later, Natalie stood in the National Gallery, watching workers hang her paintings. Her work was displayed alongside pieces by artists she had studied in art school, people whose careers she had admired for years. The opening was spectacular. People flew in from across the country. Critics wrote glowing reviews, and David kept his promise, arriving in D.C. the morning of the opening with flowers and a huge smile. I'm so proud of you, he said, kissing her. During the opening reception, Natalie was giving an interview to an art magazine when she saw a familiar face in the crowd. Ryan. He was wearing a suit instead of his usual casual clothes, looking slightly uncomfortable in the formal setting. When their eyes met, he gave her a small wave. After the interview, Natalie made her way over to him. What are you doing here? She asked, surprised but pleased. I'm in D.C. for a few days. My show is touring and we have performances here. I saw the announcement about your exhibition and had to come. That means a lot, Natalie said. They walked through the gallery together, Ryan listening as Natalie explained her pieces. When they reached the transformation series, Ryan stopped. "This one," he said, pointing to the woman at the crossroads. "It's us, isn't it?" "It's about choice," Natalie said. "About having the courage to choose your path and walk it fully." "We did that," Ryan said. "It was hard, but we did it." "Yes, we did." Ryan turned to her. "Can I tell you something? I've dated other people since you, nice people, talented people, but none of them understood me the way you did. None of them got the whole artist's soul thing." "Ryan." "I'm not saying I want to get back together," he clarified quickly. "I know that ship has sailed. I'm just saying that what we had was special, and I'm grateful for it even though it ended." "Me too," Natalie said. "You helped me become who I am. You believed in my art when I barely believed in it myself. That's a gift I'll always carry with me. And you helped me believe I could make it on Broadway. You were my biggest cheerleader." They looked at each other with deep affection and no regret. "We were good together," Ryan said. "We were," Natalie agreed. "But we're better apart. We're both exactly where we need to be." "Living our dreams," Ryan said. "Living our dreams," Natalie confirmed. 5 years after her breakup with Ryan, Natalie stood in her beautiful studio space in Chicago. She was preparing for a documentary crew that was filming a piece about successful Chicago artists. Her career had flourished beyond her wildest dreams. She had worked in museums across the country, had published a book about her artistic process, and had become a sought-after teacher and mentor. She split her time between creating her own work and helping emerging artists find their voices. And she had married David 2 years ago in a small ceremony in their favorite park in Chicago, surrounded by friends and family. The documentary crew arrived and set up their equipment. The interviewer, a young woman named Sarah, had clearly done her research. "Your work often explores themes of choice and transformation," Sarah said. "Can you talk about where that comes from?" Natalie smiled. "When I was younger, I was in love with someone who got an incredible opportunity in New York. He wanted me to move with him, and I had to choose between following him and staying here to pursue my own career." "What did you choose?" Sarah asked. "I chose to stay. It was the hardest decision I ever made, but it was also the right one, because I wasn't choosing between love and art. I was choosing between his dream and mine, and I realized that sacrificing my dream wouldn't have made either of us happy in the long run." "Do you have any regrets?" Sarah asked. Natalie thought about it carefully. "I regret the pain we both went through. I regret that we couldn't find a way to support both our dreams while staying together. But I don't regret the choice I made. That choice led me to everything I have now, my career, my life, my husband, my sense of self." "What happened to the man in New York?" Sarah asked. "He's doing incredibly well. He's a successful Broadway actor, exactly what he always wanted to be. We're not in touch regularly, but we follow each other's careers, and I'm genuinely happy for his success." "So you both got your dreams," Sarah observed. "Yes," Natalie said, "just not together, and that's okay. Sometimes love means letting each other go so you can both become who you're meant to be." After the interview wrapped up, Natalie went home to the beautiful house she and David had bought together. David was in the kitchen, cooking dinner. "How did the interview go?" he asked, kissing her. "Good," they asked about Ryan. And David wasn't jealous or insecure. He knew Natalie's past, and he knew she had chosen her present. "And I told them the truth, that we both chose our dreams, and that was the right choice for both of us." "No regrets," David asked, echoing the interviewer's question. Natalie looked around their home, walls covered with her paintings and David's architectural sketches, photographs from their wedding, invitations to upcoming exhibitions and building dedications. She thought about her full, rich life, built on her own terms, in the city she loved. None, she said firmly, not a single one. That night, as Natalie was getting ready for bed, her phone buzzed with a notification. Ryan had been nominated for a Tony Award for his performance in his latest show. She smiled and sent him a congratulatory text. "You did it! So proud of you. You chose your dreams and look where it got you." His response came quickly. "We both did, and we both won. Different dreams, different paths, but we both won." Natalie looked at the message for a long time before typing her final reply. "Yes, we did. And that's the best ending we could have asked for." Epilogue, the reunion. 10 years after their breakup, Natalie received an invitation to speak at a conference about balancing artistic vision with practical life decisions. The conference was in New York. She almost didn't go. New York was Ryan's city, and while she had been there several times for work over the years, she always felt like she was visiting his world. But David encouraged her. "You have just as much right to be in New York as anyone else, and your perspective on this topic is valuable. You should go." The conference was held in a beautiful venue in Manhattan. Natalie's talk was well received, and afterward, several young artists approached her with questions about choosing between love and career, between stability and dreams. "The truth is," Natalie told them, "it's not always an either-or choice. Sometimes you can have both. But if you're forced to choose, choose the option that lets you be truest to yourself. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't love someone else fully if you've sacrificed your own soul." After the Q&A session ended, Natalie was packing up her materials when someone tapped her shoulder. She turned around to find Ryan, looking distinguished now in his late 30s, with hints of gray at his temples. "Ryan, what are you doing here?" "I'm one of the keynote speakers tomorrow. I'm talking about pursuing dreams in the performing arts," he said with a warm smile. "I saw your name on the schedule and hoped I'd catch you. Your talk was incredible, Nat." "Thank you. You're speaking tomorrow." "Yeah, wanna grab coffee, catch up properly." They went to a small cafe near the venue. Over coffee, they shared their lives from the past 10 years. Ryan had indeed won his Tony Award and had become one of Broadway's most respected actors. But he also looked tired. "I'm taking a break," he admitted. "After this conference, I'm going home to Ohio for a few months. I need to reconnect with myself, with life outside of theater." "That sounds healthy," Natalie said. "I'm getting married too," Ryan added. "To another actor. We met doing a show together. She understands this life in a way that, well, in a way you never could have. Not because you weren't capable, but because it wasn't your world." "I'm happy for you, Ryan, truly." "And you and David." "Married 5 years now, very happy. We just found out I'm pregnant." Ryan's face lit up. "Nat, that's wonderful, congratulations." They talked for another hour, and for the first time, it felt completely comfortable. No lingering feelings, no what-ifs, just two old friends who once loved each other deeply and had both moved on to lives that suited them. As they were leaving, Ryan said, "You know what I realized? We didn't fail. Our relationship didn't fail. It served its purpose. We helped each other become who we needed to be." "And then we were brave enough to let each other go," Natalie added. Exactly. How many people can say that? They hugged goodbye, and Natalie knew it would probably be years before they saw each other again. But that was okay. They had given each other everything they needed to support, love, and eventually, freedom. That night, Natalie called David from her hotel room. "How was your day?" he asked. "I saw Ryan. We had coffee. And it was perfect. We're both happy, both living our dreams, both with the right people. There's closure, real closure. No regrets, no what-ifs." "Good," David said simply. "When are you coming home?" "Tomorrow evening. I can't wait to see you." "I love you, Nat." "I love you too." As Natalie hung up, she walked to the window and looked out at the New York skyline. It was beautiful, undeniably so, but it wasn't her beautiful. Her beautiful was the Chicago sunrise over Lake Michigan. Her beautiful was David's laugh and her studio full of paintings. Her beautiful was the life she had built for herself, on her own terms. Ryan had chosen his dreams, and she had chosen hers. And in the end, they had both chosen right. The end. Indefinitely asterisk equals for an unlimited or unspecified period of time. Asterisk charisma, asterisk equals compelling attractiveness or charm. Inseparable equals unable to be separated. Always together. Closure asterisk equals a sense of resolution or conclusion. Residency asterisk equals a period of specialized training. Prestigious asterisk equals having high status or respect. Nostalgia asterisk equals sentimental longing for the past. Transformation equals change completely in form or appearance. Asterisk commission asterisk equals a work ordered for payment. Asterisk sacrifice asterisk equals giving up something valued for something else. Flourish asterisk equals grow or develop in a healthy way. Reunion asterisk equals meeting again after separation. Discussion questions asterisk. 1. Was Natalie right to choose her career over following Ryan? Why or why not? 2. Could Ryan and Natalie have made their relationship work? What would it have required? 3. Is it selfish to choose your dreams over a relationship? 4. How did choosing themselves actually help both Ryan and Natalie in the long run? 5. What does "you can't pour from an empty cup" mean in the context of relationships? 6. Would you make the same choice Natalie made? Why or why not? 7. Can two people who truly love each other have dreams that are incompatible? 8. What's the difference between choosing your dreams and choosing yourself? Mudchi is story key Mutabik 3. Ya 4. Prompt du taka ma video key under Picklaga Sacco.